Okay, so I have some physical menus here because that's what we're working on for our next project. So let's say this is perhaps one you got in your mail because you're going to order food from a place local, and let's say you're actually going to go and pick it up, or maybe you're actually going to go to the restaurant, something along those lines. You're not going to use DoorDash or anything like that. So let's think about like what's some of the most important information you want to see on the menu when you pick it up. Say it again.
The name.
The name. Good. So I need to know the name of the restaurant. Excellent. What else is really important? I'll flip through here so you can get some ideas. What else is really important as I'm looking through the menu? The options of food. Absolutely. So I want to pretty much see that everything's on here, because if there's not including everything on here, how would you know, right? Good. What other information is important based on, let's say if you're not at the restaurant, what other information is important to know? The front page here may help you out a little bit. How am I going to contact the restaurant? Some kind of contact, different phone number, basically, address, things like that. So those pieces are extremely important as well. So now that we pretty much know, like, that's kind of like the meat of our sandwich in this sense, okay? So now I have some of my like content on here, which lists all the different things I have. So what are like some of the artistic choices that we can make that are going to be like help make a good idea? Like they're going to help us understand and view our menu clearly. Would you type your menu in yellow ink on a white piece of paper? Good. Why not?
Because it would be hard to read.
Way too hard to read. So we want to make sure that the font is going to be easy to read color-wise, and not only the color, but what other choices you want to be able to read. Yeah, the literal font itself, and how about also its size too. So let's look over here on like, I think the orange side's a little easier to read, so I'm going to fold that like this. So if I'm looking at the orange side of the menu here, what's one way like they're differentiating their food from its description? So they're using different colors. You've got like this darker color for the title, and then the description's in white. And then what color is the cost in? Black. Good. Also, like, what is a good way to like start to organize my menu so that way I know these are all listed as like big platters and this is chicken. How did they go about dividing all this content to make it like easier to find each category? Yeah, they've got like a title under each one. What else did they do with the paper to help divide them as well? Yeah, they're different pages on this big piece of paper. They've divided the paper so I know what falls under each category. So they're not going to put like some kind of chicken under and salads under the platters if they aren't platters. So we want to have that kind of organization to go with it too. Awesome. Great way to go. So there's a lot of different ways we can fold and display our menu too. So in this case, you've got like a multiple folded version. I've got some more on here. I'm going to show you too. What are some other options, especially if it's just like not a ton of items? How do you think these restaurants are like using their paper? Are any of these folded? No. So these are all like flat is an option too. So you have a lot of options when it comes to this project. You're going to end up choosing your own restaurant. It could be something that exists, or you could totally make it up. I have no preference. My only requirement is that you're not using like an existing like logo or design. Okay? So if you want to do Dante's in Leonia, go for it, but I don't want you to copy Dante's logo from the website. Okay? You want to use Burger King? Awesome. Just don't use Burger King's logo. Number two, you don't need to include the whole menu, because honestly, when you look at most places, they have a lot more stuff than what I'm usually requiring. So for this has to have like 50 things on the menu. For you guys, I said you could have like 10 main items and then at least 5 school appropriate beverages. You can do way more. It's totally up to you. Let me go over here to the project outline so we could chat about that a little bit. I also wanted to give you the choice. If you can't think of what you want to do, I have some suggestions for different categories here, but it's up to you what you want to pick. It's just in case you feel like you don't know what you're going to do. So we said you can reference actual restaurants too and just like copy and paste some of their entrees or some of their foods. So whatever you're picking, you just want to make sure it should have like a little description below it, like we talked about in the menu here. We talked about like how the title was bold, the price was bold, and then you had kind of like this less bold version for your description. So your paper size, it has to fit on like a standard piece of like printer paper. You could do it like it doesn't have to be that size though. If you want to make it more square, make it smaller than that. You want to fold it in half. Totally up to you how you want to manipulate your paper. Okay. We are going to use both sides of it though. And some of the things we talked about first, we talked about like identification. We want to have a name for the menu, a logo, and some kind of like design element. So my first plan for today was to like start looking through the menus, like look up some free ones online. And I have on Classroom this little doc here. It's very plain, very boring. This is just more to like gather all your information. So I have a Google Doc here. I made a copy for everyone. You're going to choose, put your name, the name of your restaurant, and the type of cuisine it is. And you're going to sit here and you're going to list like the 10 items you're going to use. So if I chose, I think I put up the Bear Burger menu on here too. So if I want to do like choose items from Bear Burger here, you could literally just go in, copy it, and paste it in like this. Even maybe I'll do like bullets so it's easier to say. And you can list your 10 main items there. So the name of what it is and its description underneath. And in my opinion, you should give it a price, which would be good. And then when you go to do your drinks, I'm not looking for a description for drinks because like how much can you say about like soda, water, iced tea, and stuff like that? But sometimes people go in with other stuff too. And then what else do I have on here? If there's anything else you want to include, by all means, like Bear Burger, what else are they going to serve besides burger this year? Yeah, fries. What other sides are they going to sell? Like pickles, onion rings, stuff like that. So if you want to add more categories, you're only copying and pasting it. So you really don't have to like do anything that's really mind-blowing. Okay. Do you have any questions about what I'm going over so far? So the copy and pasting here is really important because then we want to make sure everything's like spell checked because Illustrator is not going to do that for us, which is kind of annoying. Okay. So today's really more about just like picking out the content, the text, basically the items that are going to go on your menu. We're not even going to draw and plan it out till I don't see you tomorrow. So we'll start like the sketching part probably Thursday. So my plan for today, use this period today to work on compiling your menu in Google Docs. And the next class period, we're going to do the same. After that, we're going to start on the sketch part and planning out like its size and how we want it to look. Okay. Do you have any questions so far? Content-wise, I guess I'll close with one thing. I know I'm talking like just because these were some physical menus I had here. Like, I know these were more like Bear Burger, which is a chain, pretty well known. This one's like Italian. You can also go with different things. Like I've had people do like ice cream shops, and they were talking about like different ice cream sundaes. I've had people do the acai bowls. Like it doesn't have to be kind of like something you'd eat for lunch. If you want it to be a little bit more specialty, totally your call. Feel free. Like make it something fun that you want to look at because we're going to be looking at this for like 2 weeks at this point. Any questions so far? All right, cool. Let's get started. So you have the full period today, and by the end of the period next class, we need to make sure that the Google Doc of your menu is ready to go.